everyone, and welcome back to our channel. After exploring how generative AI is reshaping our world, today's episode will introduce how to apply generative AI in our daily lives. There are already many videos online discussing topics like prompt engineering and ChatGPT plugins. However, in this series, I aim to share practical applications of ChatGPT in various scenarios. I've noticed that sometimes people use ChatGPT in limited ways and overlook its potential in other contexts. In the next 3 episodes, we'll explore how to leverage ChatGPT to assist with learning, job seeking, and personal growth. Each episode will share 10 specific scenarios demonstrating how to use ChatGPT more effectively in these areas of life. In today's episode, we'll start by focusing on 10 scenarios where ChatGPT can enhance your learning experience. I hope this makes your learning journey easier and more enjoyable. Let's get started. First, explaining key terms. When we read articles, we often encounter technical terms that are difficult to understand. And even if the words are familiar, we might want more detailed explanations. So, this is where ChatGPT comes in handy. Here's how. First, upload the relevant document. Then ask ChatGPT. List the keywords in this article and explain them. It will extract the important terms and provide explanations. If translation is needed, we used to rely on tools like Google Translate. Now, ChatGPT can handle it directly. Simply input, "Please translate them," with 1 line in Chinese and 1 line in English. This allows for a convenient side-by-side translation. You might notice that the results vary slightly each time you input the request. If you want more detailed explanations, you can ask it to provide a more thorough explanation. Second, simplifying difficult concepts. Some academic concepts can be very complex and require background knowledge to understand. Even with Wikipedia, they might still be difficult to grasp. ChatGPT makes this much easier by tailoring explanations to our background. For instance, if you want a simpler explanation, you can ask, "Explain the concept of leveraged buyouts in a way a 15-year-old can understand." After inputting this, you'll get an explanation framed in scenarios that a 15-year-old can relate to. In addition to age-specific explanations, you can also request tailored explanations based on your academic background. For example, if you have a science background and want to understand financial concepts, you could ask, "Explain the difference between buyers and sellers in a way that a science student can understand." ChatGPT will then provide examples related to scientific concepts. This approach not only makes complex concepts easier to understand, but also helps you grasp connections between different subjects and disciplines more effectively. Third, providing real-life examples. This is a really useful feature because sometimes academic concepts can be hard to understand. Applying them to real-life situations often makes them easier to grasp, and ChatGPT can help provide relevant examples. For example, you could ask, "Help me understand the law of large numbers with a real-life example." ChatGPT might use dice rolling as an example to explain how the law of large numbers works. You can also get creative and ask, "Explain investment banking using an example from League of Legends." It will offer a unique and creative angle to help you understand the concept. If you want to learn about the historical development or timeline of a concept, you could ask, "What are the key developments in investment banking over time?" ChatGPT will analyze it starting from the 17th century. If you're more interested in recent developments, you can ask about the latest trends or changes. Next, answering in-depth questions. Sometimes we might hesitate to ask certain questions out of embarrassment, fear of asking the wrong thing, or simply because we can't find an expert. However, ChatGPT allows us to ask questions anytime and anywhere, providing 24/7 answers to our doubts. For example, you can ask, "Why do companies pay investment banking fees to raise capital instead of directly seeking investors?" ChatGPT will explain the various reasons behind this practice. When studying the same subject, you may come across different concepts. Understanding how they relate to each other can greatly enhance your learning efficiency. You can ask, "What is the relationship between mergers and acquisitions and discounted cash flow analysis?" ChatGPT will explain that discounted cash flow is used for valuation, which ultimately influences the outcome of mergers and acquisitions. Fifth, organizing notes and summaries. During class, we might take a lot of notes and wonder where the key points are. Or, when reading long articles, we might want to summarize the content. ChatGPT can be very helpful in these situations. For example, you can ask, summarize this article in 300 words, or extract 10 key points from this document. By comparing ChatGPT's results, you can check if any important points were overlooked in your own notes. Sixth, providing case studies. Through case studies, we can better understand how knowledge is applied in real life. However, searching for relevant information online can take a lot of time, and ChatGPT makes this process much more efficient. For instance, you can ask, provide 3 famous case studies of investment banking. It might provide examples like Disney and Lehman Brothers, along with explanations. If you want to learn about cases specific to a certain region, you can ask, are there any related examples in Hong Kong? It will not only explain each case, but also highlight key points, challenges, and outcomes, helping you better understand the connection between the case and the knowledge. Seventh, generating exercises. Preparing for exams can be stressful for many students. If we want more opportunities to test our knowledge, how can we practice effectively? We can invite ChatGPT to be our study partner, providing mock tests and suggested answers. Start by inputting, design a multiple choice question. ChatGPT will give you a question along with the answer. If you want to avoid seeing the answer, simply add, do not show the answer. Next time, you can ask it not to provide the answer before the question. If you want to practice essay questions, input, design a short answer question with a maximum score of 10. You can try answering and see how ChatGPT scores you. If your argument isn't strong, you might get 5 to 6 points. For better answers, you could score 7 to 10 points. If you want to improve your answers, ask, what is the best answer to this question and why? This will help you understand how to structure your responses and learn why a particular answer is considered the best. Next, advising on case studies. When we want to apply knowledge to analyze real-world issues, such as analyzing the fluctuations of the Japanese yen, but we're unsure where to start, ChatGPT can offer useful guidance. For example, you can ask, where should I start analyzing the changes in the Japanese yen from 2022 to 2024? ChatGPT will outline a structure for your analysis. If you want to dive deeper into the specific tasks and timeline for this research, you can ask, create a task list and timeline for this analysis. It will provide a weekly breakdown of tasks. Of course, you can adjust the timeline to suit your own situation. If you need assistance with coding, you can request, provide Python code for this analysis. If you want to know the key points of a particular issue, reading reference material is essential. You can ask, are there any related articles on this topic? ChatGPT will provide links, but I agree that it's important to verify the accuracy of sources, for example, by checking Google Scholar for relevant articles. This ensures the credibility of the materials provided. If you need academic references, you can ask, recommend some academic papers with sources. ChatGPT will provide relevant academic literature, but always remember to carefully verify the credibility of the sources. Ninth, collecting data. Data collection is one of the most challenging parts of research. First, you need to find data sources, and then you must understand different databases. ChatGPT can provide valuable suggestions in this process. For example, you can ask, what should I use as the independent and dependent variables in my model? ChatGPT might suggest variables like interest rates, inflation, policies, etc. Next, you can follow up with, where can I find data for these variables? ChatGPT will point you to different databases where this data can be accessed. If you want to include additional variables in your model, you can ask for more recommendations. For example, with the growing popularity of sentiment analysis, you can ask, is it feasible to use Google Trends as a variable? ChatGPT may agree that it's a good suggestion, allowing you to consider adding it to your model. To go further, if you want to gather this data programmatically, you can ask, provide a code to fetch the search volume data needed for the analysis. ChatGPT will then offer programming suggestions related to your data collection needs. Finally, preparing for exams. This feature is especially useful during public exams. One of the best ways to prepare is by practicing with past exam papers. The first step is to upload the exam papers to ChatGPT and ask it, based on the past exam papers provided, how can we best prepare? Here are some key questions I recommend asking ChatGPT. What are the 10 most frequently asked questions in past exams? This is helpful because every subject tends to have focal points. Knowing which areas the exams have focused on in previous years makes examination preparation easier. If the exam papers include answers, you can ask, based on the questions and answers in the exam papers, provide problem-solving tips. This will help you learn how to approach answering questions more effectively. If the exam papers don't have answers, you can ask, can you provide answers to these questions? Once you've completed all the past papers, or if you want similar questions, you can ask ChatGPT to generate additional questions. After completing them, you can even ask it to grade your answers. However, be aware that the current version of ChatGPT may not be as accurate with math problems, so its answers should only be taken as a reference. Overall, ChatGPT is very helpful for summarizing and preparing for exams. These are the 10 ways that ChatGPT can enhance your learning. Remember, the role of generative AI is to support your learning journey, not to replace it. When using AI, always keep in mind that it can sometimes generate false information, so it should only be considered a supplementary tool. It's essential to apply critical thinking and verify the data you receive, as relying on inaccurate information could lead to errors. Additionally, when using AI for assignments, be mindful of your school's policies on AI usage to avoid being accused of plagiarism. I hope these tips help you save time and increase the efficiency of your learning. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.